So welcome everybody. It is day 3 of our winter wellness series, and I'm super excited today to introduce you to Kristen Simmonds. She comes back to us from our last wellness series, and we're very excited today to have her join us. She is a registered dietitian, as well as the manager of healthcare menu systems at Aramark Canada, which is close to Seneca's heart, as we know. And today, Kristen will be talking to us about nutrition, but also how it ties into our immune health. So nothing more perfect than that during our winter wellness series. And of course, this time of year here in Canada. So one lucky participant will win a $35 well.ca gift card today. And we will draw for that at the end just by being here on our call. And good luck to you, Kristen, and take it away.
Okay, thank you so much, Melissa. So let me share my screen here. Okay, does all of that look okay? You can see everything all right? Okay, so good morning, everyone. So thank you so much for inviting me to participate in Seneca College's Wellness Week. I'm definitely very excited to be presenting today. So like Melissa said, my name is Kristen Simmonds, and I'm a registered dietitian. And today we'll be talking about the connection between diet, nutrition, and immune function. So with today's presentation, I really wanted to provide a brief overview of the immune system and dive into some of the factors that can support healthy immune function. This can be a rather specialized topic, and I find there's a lot of misinformation out there when it comes to the link between nutrition and immunity. So today's presentation is perfect if you're someone who wants a healthy, functioning immune system and is interested in learning about the factors that influence it. So today we'll discuss what exactly the immune system is and how it works, inflammation and why it occurs, different lifestyle factors that can make the immune system less efficient, whether or not you can actually boost your immune response through healthy eating, the nutrients that are involved in the immune cells and the body's immune response, and then lastly, the role of probiotics and prebiotics in supporting immune function. So this may come as a surprise, but we are constantly exposed to potentially harmful microbes on a daily basis. And when you think about it, if that's the case, why don't we get sick more often? Well, really, it's because of our body's immune system. And the immune system is a fascinatingly complex system that protects our body against outside invaders like bacteria, viruses, parasites, fungi, toxins, and many, many others. And our immune system is responsible for essentially detecting these harmful foreign substances and getting rid of them as quick and efficiently as possible. So whenever a foreign substance or a pathogen is detected, the body initiates its immune response. And the immune response consists of two complementary components. We have innate and adaptive immunity. So starting with innate immunity, your innate immune system is really something that you're born with, and it's activated the moment you're born. And essentially, it's the body's rapid response system. So it sort of patrols the body and is the first to respond when it finds an invader. And the system really, it's not specific to the type of invader it attacks, and it's sometimes actually a bit less effective in its response. But when the system recognizes an invader, it goes into action immediately. And the cells of this immune system, what they do is they kind of surround and actually engulf the invader, and the invader is killed inside the immune system cells. Now, on the other hand, we have adaptive immunity. So the adaptive immune response is kind of something that is learned and changes over time as you become exposed to different invaders. And really it provides a more targeted reaction that's unique to specific pathogens. So oftentimes this protection is a bit more robust, it's highly effective, and it's longer lasting than the innate immune response. Now, on that note, I want to take a closer look at these two systems and just explain a little bit more how exactly they work in the body. So, like I mentioned, innate immunity is the first line of defense from foreign substances that enter our bodies. And this response works through the use of protective barriers. We have many barriers in our bodies, so some of them include things like our skin that keeps out the majority of pathogens, mucus that actually traps pathogens. We also have stomach acid that destroys pathogens, We also have enzymes in our sweat and tears that actually help to create antibacterial compounds. Then lastly, too, we have cells of the immune system that attack all foreign substances that enter the body. And adaptive immunity, on the other hand, is a little bit different in that it's our body's way of learning to recognize and respond to specific invaders. And this system produces cells, which are also known as antibodies, that protect you from a specific invader after your body has already been exposed to it. So it can actually take up to several days for antibodies to develop. But after that first exposure, the immune system will then be able to recognize the invader and defend against it going forward. So, what happens next really is that our immune system then adapts by remembering that foreign substance so that if it enters the body again in the future, these antibodies are even more efficient and quick to destroy it. And then I just wanted to note too that immunizations, such as the flu vaccine, for example, can actually train your immune system to make antibodies itself and protect yourself from harmful diseases. So, the initiation of an immune response and the process cells go through to defend against an invader oftentimes results in something called inflammation. So, we can actually feel and see inflammation in the body in the form of redness, swelling, and feelings of heat and pain. And these signs really reflect the damage that's occurring to tissues in the body while the immune system is doing its work. And although this definitely sounds unpleasant and unwanted, this is actually an expected outcome of an effective immune response. So it is, in a sense, something we do want to see, at least initially. Now, there's really a growing concern that modern lifestyle changes have resulted in the promotion of ongoing low grade whole body inflammation caused by immune cells. So, for example, there might be prolonged inflammation as a result of something like toxins from cigarette smoke, excess fat cells, or plaque in our arteries. And many of these instances are a consequence of certain lifestyle choices we make. So, what are the lifestyle factors that can actually suppress or weaken our immune system? Well, the first one I would say is old age. So, definitely, as we age, our organs tend to become less efficient and they really don't perform as well as they used to. And this is really important because, organs that are part of the immune system, like the thymus or bone marrow, they actually begin to produce fewer immune cells that are needed to fight off infections. And of course, too, a lot of times aging is associated with certain micronutrient deficiencies, which may actually worsen an already declining immune function. And then another factor are environmental toxins. So, definitely substances such as cigarette smoke, air pollution, and excessive alcohol can impair the normal activity of immune cells and they can result in prolonged inflammation. Another factor too is having excess body weight. So kind of similar to environmental toxins, having a higher than normal body weight and an excessive amount of fat cells in your midsection specifically can actually suppress the activity of immune cells and can cause chronic inflammation, which is something we do want to avoid. Now, we also have chronic disease. So there are some autoimmune conditions, and autoimmune diseases are essentially conditions in which your immune system mistakenly attacks your own body. So, inflammatory bowel disease, celiac disease, type 1 diabetes, and rheumatoid arthritis are actually examples of autoimmune diseases. And another factor is chronic mental stress. So, stress releases hormones like cortisol, for example, which I think most of us have heard of, that actually suppresses inflammation. And this is a problem because inflammation is initially needed to actually activate immune cells and initiate their defense response. And then, lastly, too, another factor would be lack of sleep. So, sleep is definitely a time of restoration for the body, during which a type of compound that also fights infections called cytokines are released into the body. And actually, having too little sleep can lower the amount of these cytokines in your body. But the final lifestyle factor that can really suppress our immune system is a poor diet. So having poor dietary habits or consuming, not enough of one or more nutrients can definitely increase the likelihood of your body's immune system limiting its production and activity of immune cells and antibodies. And this results in, your body's decreasing ability to defend against harmful invaders. And of course, this is the main focus of today's presentation, so we'll definitely dive a little bit deeper into this topic over the next few slides. So we need to make sure we're eating a variety of nutritious foods throughout the day to really ensure we're getting enough nutrients. I'm sure many of us know that. But this is important because there are several nutrients required for the health and function of all cells in the body, including immune cells. And certain dietary patterns like vegetarianism and the Mediterranean diet, they're thought to better kind of prepare the body for microbial invaders and excess inflammation. But it's really highly unlikely that individual foods offer special protection. And this is because each stage of the body's immune response relies on the presence of several micronutrients. So, some of the nutrients that have been identified as vital for the growth and function of immune cells would include things like vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, and vitamin E, as well as folate, iron, selenium, zinc, and omega 3. And these are found in a variety of plant and animal foods, which really is why it's essential to have a balanced diet that's full of variety. So, we'll definitely dive a little bit deeper into these nutrients over the next few slides. Um, but before we move on, I really just wanted to mention that, any sort of diet that is limited in variety and lower in nutrients can negatively affect a healthy immune system. So most often, this would be a diet consisting of primarily ultra-processed foods. And there's also an emerging belief that a Western diet that's high in refined sugar, red meat, and lower in vegetables and fruits can promote imbalances of healthy intestinal microorganisms, which results in chronic inflammation of the gut and associated suppressed immunity. And like I mentioned, there are many nutrients that have been identified as vital for the growth and function of immune cells. So I want to spend some time going through each of these individual nutrients now. So starting with vitamin A, it's really known as an infection fighter and it comes in two forms. So it comes preformed, such as in animal foods like fish, meat, and dairy, or from plant sources. And when it comes to plant sources of vitamin A, I'd say a general rule of thumb is you want to think orange and green. So you want to have foods like carrots, sweet potatoes, butternut squash, cantaloupe, and dark leafy green vegetables. And another nutrient is vitamin C. So I'm sure many of us have heard about vitamin C and its association with immunity. But essentially, this nutrient helps prevent infections and shorten their stay in the body. So of course, citrus fruits are a standout, but there are definitely many other sources of vitamin C. So foods like spinach, kale, bell peppers, Brussels sprouts, strawberries, papaya, they are all great sources of vitamin C, and we should try and have some of these in our diet. And then as well too, we have vitamin D. So this is actually one of the most important and powerful nutrients for supporting the immune system. And some food sources of vitamin D would include foods like salmon, mackerel, tuna, sardines, as well as different fortified foods like vitamin D fortified milk, orange juice, and cereals. Now, like vitamin C, vitamin E is also a pretty powerful nutrient that's actually involved in nearly 200 chemical reactions in the body. So it's definitely critical to how our immune system functions. So to get your vitamin E, you want to think about high-fat plant foods. So this would include foods like almonds, peanut butter, sunflower seeds, and soybean oil. And as well too, we have folic acid. And folic acid is a nutrient that oftentimes is actually added to foods because of its ability to help your body produce and maintain new cells. So to get more folate, I would definitely recommend adding more beans and legumes to your plate on a regular basis, as well as foods like avocado and leafy green vegetables. But you can also get folic acid from fortified foods such as enriched pasta, bread, and rice. And then as well too, we have iron. So definitely iron plays an important part in many of the immune system processes because it helps to carry oxygen to cells. And iron is found in animal foods like red meat, poultry, tuna, and shellfish, but it's also found in some plant foods like beans and legumes, pumpkin seeds, broccoli, kale, and iron fortified cereal. And then the last three nutrients that are important for immune function are selenium, zinc, and omega-3. So, selenium seems to have a powerful effect on the immune system by helping it prevent infections. And really, I'd say animal sources are the best sources of this nutrient. So, you want to try and look for selenium in foods like tuna, halibut, meat and liver, cottage cheese, and poultry. And we also have zinc, and it's needed for the production of new immune system cells. So again, it's also found primarily in animal foods, in different foods like lean meats and poultry, yogurt and crab, but it can also be found in just a few plant foods like in baked beans and chickpeas. And then lastly, too, we have omega-3. So, omega 3 fatty acids support an effective immune system by really helping to resolve inflammation in the body. And I'm sure many of us have likely heard that omega 3 can be found in fish and seafood, but it's also found in a lot of plant sources as well, like walnuts, flax seeds, plant oils, and different fortified foods. And in addition to micronutrients, there are actually a few other components of foods we should consider when talking about healthy eating for immune support. And these are prebiotics and probiotics. So the microbiome is a large community of microorganisms that live in our body, mostly in our intestines. And this is an area of intense and active research, as scientists are actually finding that the microbiome plays a key role in immune function. So, for those of you who didn't already know, the gut is actually a major site of immune activity and the production of antimicrobial proteins. So, our diet plays a really large role in determining what kinds of microbes live in our intestines. And what we're finding is a high fiber, plant rich diet with plenty of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and legumes appears to support the growth and maintenance of beneficial microbes. And within foods, you can find two unique compounds. You can find prebiotics and probiotics. And essentially, probiotics are the good forms of bacteria and yeast that live in your gut. And they're deemed to be helpful because they have actually been proven to enhance immunity, improve digestion, and decrease the severity of allergies. So, some examples of probiotic foods that would be really good to include in your diet would be kefir, yogurt that's made with live active cultures, different fermented vegetables, tempeh, kimchi, and miso. And as well, there are certain helpful microbes that can break down fiber found in foods, and these have been shown to stimulate immune cell activity. And these fibers are called prebiotics because they feed microbes and maintain healthy colonies of bacteria in your gut. So, some examples of prebiotic foods would include foods like garlic, onions, leeks, asparagus. I think there's also Jerusalem artichokes and bananas. However, really, I'd say a more general rule is just to eat a variety of fruits, vegetables, beans, and whole grains for dietary prebiotics. But essentially, with all of that, I know that was a lot of information, but really, essentially, a diet containing probiotic and prebiotic foods is really found to be the most beneficial to your gut health. Now, one question I frequently get asked, especially during the winter months, is does an immune boosting diet exist? Is there one type of diet or one type of eating pattern that can give me an even greater protection and better immune function? So, the idea of boosting your immunity through diet is definitely enticing, but the ability to do so is kind of misleading for several reasons. So, the immune system is precisely that, right? It's a system, it's not a single entity. So, to function well, it must have balance and harmony between all systems involved. And there's still so much researchers don't know about the intricacies and interconnectedness of the immune response. And of course, too, there are several vitamins and minerals that play a role in maintaining a healthy immune system. There really isn't a single nutrient or food that has enough influence to make your immune system work better than normal. And I find there's definitely a lot of information about this online and from social media. So, for now, really what we're finding is that there are no scientifically proven direct links between lifestyle, specific diets, and enhanced immune function. But of course, that doesn't mean that the effects of lifestyle and diet on the immune system aren't intriguing and shouldn't be studied. There's definitely a lot of research that's being done right now that's really exploring the effects of diet, exercise, age, psychological stress, and other factors on the immune response. So, in the meantime, really, I would just say following general healthy living strategies, including a well balanced diet full of variety, is a really good way to start giving your immune system the upper hand. And that's everything I have to cover today. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope today's presentation provided a good overview of the relationship between diet, nutrition, and immune health. And I am more than happy to answer any questions you may have. I'll pass it back to you, Melissa and Michelle.
Okay. Do you want to stop sharing your screen, or do you want to?
No, it's okay. I'll keep it on. Can you still see me or no?
Oh yeah, we can definitely.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep it on.
So we have some questions.
Okay.
I'm just going to share them in chat. Can you see them?
Oh,
So I can read you the first one.
Okay.
What foods should you avoid to maintain a healthy immune system?
Okay, that's a good one. So it's a good question. I guess the way I look at that is I really, in a general sense, I don't think there are any foods that we should avoid, right? All foods can be part of a healthy, balanced diet. Really, I would focus more on what foods can we include in our diet to support our immune system rather than what foods we should avoid. So definitely I would say, things like pop, candy, chips, all of that can be enjoyed as part of a diet, as long as the majority of our diet is made up of, like I said, high fiber plant foods such as vegetables and fruits, lean sources of protein, whole grains, beans, and legumes, because these foods have been proven to be beneficial to your immune system. So I would kind of look at it a bit in the reverse sense.
Melissa, do you want to ask the next question?
Sure. One of the students actually wrote into us beforehand knowing that this was coming up and wanted to know the answer to this. I don't like fermented food. Would a probiotic be a good idea? And if so, should I choose a brand found in the refrigerated or shelf-stable section at a store?
That's a really good question. Yeah, definitely, if you don't like fermented foods, that's okay. That's no problem. So a probiotic supplement is definitely something you want to consider. But there are a lot of different types on the market. So I would say a general guideline is to look for a probiotic that has about 1 billion, what's called colony-forming units. And I would definitely recommend doing some research before you choose a probiotic because they're not all designed the same and they do sometimes have different functions. So it might be helpful to do some research to look at specific brands you may want to choose in the grocery store. But when it comes to refrigerated versus shelf stable, that's a really good question. So personally, I would recommend choosing a shelf stable product. And the reason is because probiotics are greatly influenced by different environmental factors such as temperature. And of course, there's always, a bit of concern that the refrigerated probiotic products, they may not have been stored properly during transportation or while they're actually at the grocery store. If that happens and they do spend some time without proper refrigeration and, not being at the correct temperature, they kind of become inactive, right? So then you're buying a product that's really not beneficial. Whereas if you're buying a shelf stable product, you already know that when you purchase that item, it will be effective. There's no question about it. So that's just my personal recommendation.
It's a good one. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do we want to add?
I can do the third one as well if you'd like, Michelle.
Absolutely.
We did have a final question. I know that we talked about vitamin C, but this question is vitamin C the most important immunity builder And is a supplement a good idea, and how much is enough?
Okay, that's a good question. So definitely, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, there really is no single nutrient that's most important when it comes to providing protection and enhancing our immune function. Really, all nutrients play an important role and kind of they contribute to our immune system in different ways. But definitely, vitamin C has been really heavily researched, which is why people probably hear about it a bit more and its association between immunity, kind of in comparison to other nutrients. Um, and with supplementation, I'd say it's most likely not needed for individuals, provided you're having a variety of vegetables and fruits as part of your diet every day. And I'd say if you're aiming for about 5 to 6 servings of vegetables and fruits per day, you're likely getting enough vitamin C in your diet. But what's interesting too about vitamin C in terms of supplementation is that this nutrient is water soluble, which means that excess amounts that you intake, they're actually excreted by our urine. So if you were to supplement, so let's say you're already getting enough from food, and then you decide to add a supplement into your diet, well, a lot of that supplement is just going right out. You're not really getting that benefit from it. So I would recommend just assessing your diet. If you think you're getting enough vitamins, or sorry, vegetables and fruits every day, you most likely do not need to supplement.
Especially with that list that you gave us, I think the majority of people, not only, when you think about immune health, you think about vitamin C, but when you think about vitamin C, you think about citrus fruits.
Absolutely.
The list that you had, it's more expansive than we think when it comes to our fruits and veggies. Vitamin C can be found in quite a few of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that, and I love sharing that.
Yeah, it's good for this, and obviously this topic with our immune health. Yeah.
Of course.
Thank you so much for answering our questions today. We're gonna have Michelle pick a winner of our well.ca at this point in our session. Michelle?
The winner is going to be Tazeen Mata.
Yay!
Yay, Tazeen.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. So Tazeen, all I would need you to do is if you could send me your email address and student number in chat, then I will be able to send you your gift card. Is
Awesome.
that okay? You can unmute yourself if you'd like. And also, Tazeen, if you've signed up, if you've registered for any one of our programs through our website, then I can also get it from there. Okay, Tazeen, let's see. Would you also be able to send me your student number?
Yeah, 1 second. I'm new, so I don't have it memorized. I'm gonna go get it.
Oh, okay.
No problem. While she gets that information, Kristen, is there anywhere else that the viewers could find more information on this through Airmark Canada or a personal site that you could share with us at this point?
Yeah, gosh, if anyone's looking for more information, through our company, we have a really great website called liveitgood.ca. We have lots of health and wellness information there that myself and other dietitians in our company like to update regularly. But really, in general, I'd say if you're looking for just healthy eating, information, always going to credible sources online is the best option. So any kind of government resources from Health Canada, looking at Canada's food guide, I highly recommend those resources. They're really great.
Thank you. That's great. Anything that we can help to build our wellness repertoire, right?
Exactly.
Michelle, did you get all the information you need?
Not yet, but I see that Lucia sent the link to
Wonderful.
liveitgood.ca website.
In the chat?
In chat, if anybody wants to take that.
Thank you, Lucia. That's fabulous. Thank you to Lucia as well for joining us today and always supporting in the background. Thank you again to Kristen Simmonds from Airmark Canada. We are always so very grateful for you to share your knowledge with us and again to help us build a stronger wellness, I guess, like our series really, and the information that we get to share. So this is great, and that we will have this available to students and staff on our website as well after this. So they get to capture it live, but we can also include it in our libraries for people to watch at their own leisure. So thank you so much again for joining us this time.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Happy Wednesday to everybody and take good care. Be well.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye.